One of you is a werewolf. And before this night is over, we're gonna find out who. Okay, everybody, today we are taking a look back at an awesome piece of awesomeness from 1974. The Beast Must Die. Oh, I love this movie. I love this movie. But before we go any further, once and again, as always, you know the routine to the trailer.
When the moon is full, the beast must die.
One of you is a werewolf.
You must track down the werewolf. One of these 8 people is a werewolf. Can you guess which one?
Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one?
One of these 8 people will turn into a werewolf. Can you guess who it is when we stop the film for The Werewolf Break? See it, solve it, but don't tell. The beast must die.
Okay, this motion picture was directed by Paul Annett, who did a whole bunch of work over on the other side of the pond. Mostly TV stuff, is what it is. Anyway, he did stuff like Emerald and EastEnders and Widows and Partners in Crime and A Question of Guilt and Heartland and Within These Walls and The Worker and New Scotland Yard. So, kept himself busy, did a bunch of shit. We don't even care about anything else, because all we care about is this. Okay, playing Tom Newcliffe is Calvin Lockhart. Man, we're talking some exploitation, fucking fantastic shit in and of itself. Was in a whole bunch of cool shit. We were talking about he was in stuff like Myra Breckinridge, and Cotton Comes to Harlem, and Halls of Anger, and Wild at Heart, and Predator 2, and Coming to America, and The Baltimore Bullet. But more importantly, he was in 2 motion pictures I love, which is Uptown Saturday Night and Let's Do It Again. Oh my God, I love those 2 flicks. We're going to get to them sooner or later at some point or another. Those shits are fucking classic. Okay, playing Caroline Newcliffe was Marlene Clark. Marlene Clark. Anyway, she was in a bunch of stuff we just covered not too long ago in The Blob, or Beware the Blob, as I should say. But she was in a whole bunch of other shit, as I said before. She was in stuff like The Landlord and Night of the Cobra Woman, if you remember that, and Slaughter and Black Mamba and Lord Shango. Shit, she popped up in Air the fucking Dragon. And she was on TV and stuff like, you know, Marcus Welby, MD, The Mod Squad, What's Happening, Sanford and Son. So, she was around. If you're my age, you remember her face and other stuff. Marlene Clark, what can you say? Playing Professor Christopher Lundgren was royalty himself, people. Peter fucking Cushing. What do I even need to give a list of where this man has been? What this man has been in? I mean, for the love of Christ, we're talking Grand Moff Tarkin and Star Wars, but way more important than that, he was in a million other classics. We're talking about he was in stuff like Twins of Evil and Horror Express and The Creeping Flesh and The Vampire Lovers, which was awesome, and Island of Terror and The Evil of Frankenstein and The Brides of Dracula. So he was in a bunch of shit that is just amazing. Peter Cushing, much like Christopher Lee, he's there. He's up there, and that he's there. You know what I'm saying? That's all I need to say. Okay, playing Arthur was Charles Gray, who I just talked about not too long ago in The Legacy. We're going to talk about it again. Anyway, bunch of shit. You know what I'm talking about. He was in stuff like, of course, The Legacy, which I just mentioned, and Diamonds Are Forever, and You Only Live Twice, and Night of the Generals, and Shock Treatment, and The Mirror Cracked, and of course, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's just a jump to the left, and then a step to the right. Oh, you remember. Okay, playing Jan was Michael Gambon. Now, a lot of movies, a lot of TV work, long career. We're talking about he was in stuff like Conflict, In a Dry White Season, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife and Her Lover, The Rachel Papers, and Nothing Personal, and The Gambler, and Being Julia, and Layer Cake, and The Life Aquatic, and fucking the Harry Potter movies. So, was around, was in a bunch of shit. You might recognize his face, you might not, but hey, fucking, you might. Okay, playing Paul Foote was Tom Chadbon. Hey, man, good TV career, was in a lot of shit. We're talking about he was in stuff like Couples, and The Flight of Huron, and Target, and Paradise Postponed, and Devices and Desires, and Crown Prosecutor, and Wire in the Blood, and Doctor Who even. So, was out there, he worked. Hey, what more can you want from that? Okay, playing Pavel was Anton Diffring, who whenever you see him in your head, you probably picture him some kind of like a German World War II uniform. Anyway, was in a bunch of shit. He was in stuff like Victory, which was a really cool fucking flick that nobody ever brings up anymore, and Where Eagles Dare, and The Blue Max, and Fahrenheit 451, and Incident at Midnight, and Woman of the Year, and Shatter, and The Accuser. So, hey man, his face is recognizable the minute you see him. You're going to see him and you're going to say, son of a mother, son of a bitch, I know that fucking guy. Been playing Davina was Ciaran Madden. Now, not a monster career, but hey, fuck it, she was in some stuff. We're talking about she was in stuff like Ivanhoe, and Between the Lines, and Fortunes of War, and A Married Man, and Jubilee. So, she was out there, she did her thing, she had her run. It is what it is, let's get to the story. Okay, everybody, I'm going to try to do the story, as always, in 90 seconds or less. I think I can kind of pull it off this time. This isn't that far off the rails, or it can't be done. Anyway, let's get going. You got this guy, he's running through the woods. You don't know why, you don't know what's going on, but he's being hunted down by a security team. Heavily armed, I might add. And he's running through the woods, and the woods are just loaded with microphones and cameras and all kinds of crazy shit. And there's a mastermind behind it at a giant console, and he's telling all the soldiers where to zoom in on this guy, how to capture him, how to pull it off. Weird things start happening, like they let him go a couple times and then keep hunting him, and you don't understand why, but you will in a second. See, really, the man being hunted is the mastermind behind it all. Multi-millionaire Tom Newcliffe. And his whole reason for doing this is that he wants his estate protected, monitored, every square foot, every inch. And why? Because he is there to hunt the ultimate game. Yes, he's a big game hunter, folks. He's killed everything from an army ant to an elephant. And this time he's going to go out for the one thing that he's never got. A werewolf. I shit you not. And he's invited all these people over to his house for the weekend, for a party. But they don't know that they're really there because each and every one of them has a skeleton in their closet. You see, everywhere that they've been, at one point or another, there's been death, there's been murder, and there's been mayhem. And every single one of them has a little bit of a dark history to make you question who they are and what's their agenda. Either way, they're there, he's there, and he's going to find out which one of those people is a werewolf. In there you got Peter Cushing playing a doctor who kind of gives you the exposition, explaining everything that's going on and why it's taking place and how a werewolf becomes. You have his wife, you have the crew, you have everything. It doesn't make a difference. That's basically the story, and that's all you need to know. Okay, everybody. The Beast Must Die is one of those classic 70s movies that works for all time. I don't give a shit what it is. You know, there's those movies that no matter when it was made, it just works as soon as you put the play button on. You're talking whether it's Track of the Moon Beast, or whether it's The Legend of Bogey Creek, or whether it's Gargoyles, or whether it's Salem Lot. 2 seconds in, you know, oh my God, I'm going to enjoy this. You know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly how much fun you're going to have. From the opening seconds when you see Tom Newcliffe being chased through the woods and they're playing that music, and you know that music. If you're my age and of that time, you know that music. Come on, guitar players, that waka-chicka, 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 doo-doo, You're like, oh my God, I know where I am. I'm home. This is going to be the greatest experience of the next 90 minutes. One of the things that makes this motion picture too is just so awesome is the melodramatic acting in it. Oh my God, every time they start acting, it's just amazing. You have Calvin Lockhart, who I love, who's been in a million things. He's just awesome. But he is playing this to the hilt. He is playing it like he's not on camera. He's playing it like he's in the theater, and he's trying to project everything to the people up in the balcony. What do you mean? It's just way over. It's just fucking awesome. It's just fucking awesome. And basically the whole cast kind of stays in that mode all the way through. It's like a stage production thrown in front of camera with people just projecting and pushing and exaggerating, and it is just fucking great. Amongst all that, you do have a really interesting little story. I mean, you really don't know who the werewolf is going to be all the way through it. You don't. And when they do that break at the end of the motion picture, what they do, which, makes it kind of like a movie like Clue or some shit like that, where they stop the film and they say, okay, who do you think is the werewolf? And they give you the names and the little, timers counting down to the seconds that you have to guess who it is before the movie continues. You're just like, oh my God, this is so much fun. It's a movie, but it's having a good time with you. You know what I mean? It's not going to sit there and try to pound you over the head as something serious and something crazy. You're just there to enjoy yourself and have a little bit of light entertainment. Other parts of the movie that are a little bit shit-tastic, yeah, of course there are. You know what I mean? For a great hunter who's apparently killed everything on planet Earth 13 fucking times over, he never seems to use the scope or the sights on his gun, and he's just wing-dinging shots all over the fucking place. Kind of amazing. I don't know how it goes. The dog, the werewolf, well, I'm going to call it a dog because that's what the fuck it is. They took a dog and they threw like a fur coat over his shoulders, buckled it in with a hood over his head. Werewolf. That's all you need, I guess. That's all you need. It's a fucking werewolf. Now it's a werewolf. It's a goddamn dog, but it's a werewolf. And some of the chase scenes are absolutely just fucking ridiculous. You're just like, how come every second he's like 2 seconds behind the car he's chasing? Not even. And then they hook a corner and now he's like 30 seconds behind. So there's things. There's things. But none of those things make a difference because you don't give a shit. Because you're too wrapped up in having fun with this stupid little goddamn werewolf story. And I just gotta say, as the professor, Peter Cushing crushes it. He's Peter Cushing, folks. You could take Peter Cushing in a lot of movies and put him in a lot of different movies, and he's just fucking Peter Cushing, and he nails it in this. He's the only guy that's explaining to you, really, what the fuck is supposed to be going on in the world of werewolves, how it's really a disease and a virus and all this other kind of happy horse shit, and they should be pitied and blah, 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 blah. He gives you all the exposition that tells you what's going on in the world of werewolves and all that kind of stuff. So without his character, this motion picture really wouldn't even work. Either way, past all that, doesn't make a difference. If there's anything you do at one point or another where you want some light entertainment that's fun, that's a little intriguing, that's basically well done, that's a little bit heavily acted, and is just there to make you forget about the real world for 90 minutes, please make sure you go out and check The Beast Must Die. It's classic. It's 70s through and through. It's thoroughly entertaining. It's completely fun and enjoyable. It's not too bloody so that it warps out, if there's kids in the room. And it's not filled with tits and ass to make you have to click it off if, your mother walks in. It's just one of those motion pictures that is almost like a horror family film that everybody can get together and enjoy for what it is. Okay, folks, take care. See you soon. Stay out of trouble. Be good to your neighbor. Look out for your fellow man. And above all else, do not take any shit from anybody. Take care. See you soon.